I'm Chris Kenton, and this week we're going out on a whim with Clickability, looking for ideas and insights that matter to smart marketers. And what matters more to marketers than content? If you want to engage customers, you need to serve up content. And Clickability serves up more content every day than almost any other company, because they provide the content platform behind many of the world's largest media companies, including CNN, Forbes, and Time. If you serve up content all day long and analyze the traffic, looking at what people are clicking on, what they're reading, what they're sending to their friends, you might expect to learn a few things about what really engages people, especially if you're smart. And John Girard, the CEO who founded Clickability, is a smart guy. So let's see what he can add to our knowledge about what's happening in marketing.
Think about your marketplace in the same way that you think about people in your life that are important to you. Think about your friends and your family. I mean, there's a certain way that you deal with somebody when you're being authentic, when you actually have a relationship you're trying to build with them, that's different than the way traditional marketers deal with traditional markets. I think that ultimately the folks in the Clue Train Manifesto got it right. The marketplace is a conversation, and the conversation's happening whether you as a marketer know that it's happening or not, whether you as a marketer choose to engage in the conversation or not. And that's really critical. That means that if you decide not to have the conversation, it's going to go on without you somewhere else. It also means that if you have the conversation and it's not authentic, your audience is going to figure that out right away. And actually, I think that this is the primary lesson of social media. The primary sort of driver behind all this is this idea of authenticity. We're very good as humans at picking out what's authentic and what's not authentic. And the fact that now consumers who come to a website can actually engage directly with a company and have a conversation out in the open about the company's products and about the problems they've had with it, about the successes that they've had with it, is enormously powerful. What marketers are being asked to do today is to change the way they think completely, and that's hard. I think that social media, the fact that now conversations are going on out there about your business that you don't have control over, obviously feels threatening. But it's not easy just to turn on a dime and decide that you're going to be a part of the community and that you're going to decide that you're going to start engaging with these folks that previously you viewed as sort of subjects or experiments or statistics. One of the things that's happening is that it's actually technology that's causing this to change, which is strange. It's not something that people are adopting because they feel like they're doing something wrong and they need to change. It's because they're being forced into thinking about these things differently. Media companies have actually been experimenting with social media for quite a while. You actually look back and there's a pretty long history of it with folks trying out some of these social functions, and it's only recently that they've really evolved. What's been really interesting is that the bar for failure and success is what's changed. So if you look at some early experiments back in the 2000-2001 timeframe, 1% adoption of some of these features was deemed to be a miserable failure. What they were missing and what's changed in the meantime is that businesses have gotten really smart about taking that very small, very passionate user base, taking all the stuff that they create and turning it into something meaningful for the rest of us. And this is something that we've called the 1% doctrine. So if you look at the social media landscape, the 1% doctrine is everywhere. It's actually the thing that drives all social media. You look at YouTube, the number of contributors versus the number of viewers. In fact, I think if you take a show of hands, 100 people in an auditorium, how many of you have actually contributed a video to YouTube? You get one person raising their hand. And this is borne out if you look at their stats and the number of page views and video views that they get versus the number of active users they have contributing. You get the same kind of phenomenon everywhere. There's been a lot of stories recently about Dig and the fact that Dig is actually dominated by a handful of people, maybe 50 or 100 folks who are responsible for 80% or more of all the digs that happen. Meanwhile, they've got an audience in the tens of thousands, so lots and lots of people out there consuming the results of the activities of just a handful of folks. So again, you see this everywhere, and the real challenge as somebody who wants to leverage social media is to take that active 1% and turn it into something really meaningful for the 99%. Think about this more as a marketing problem than a content publishing problem. So you're actually trying to get people to do something when they come to your site. This isn't just about allowing more people to publish. It's not about workflow. It's not about managing media assets. It's actually about creating some economic value. The reality is that content is still king, and it always has been. Marketers, I think, have forgotten that. What's happened when you look at technology is that you've got Google AdWords on the one side that are feeding leads into the pipe, and on the other side you've got Salesforce.com where you manage all these leads and turn them into dollars. What marketers have missed, and are still missing today, is that there's this piece in the middle. It's called engagement. This is where you put the content in front of these folks, you've generated these leads, you get them into the pipe, and you engage them. You tell them an authentic story about what it is that you do using great content. And it's only when you've done that that they can become candidates for whatever it is that you're trying to sell them.